organizing committee asked me to present in English. That's why I will do it in English. And if you don't want to hear in English, you can use your headset in order to have the interpretation. Second, you have just finished your lunch and you may feel very sleepy now. So feel free to go to check a nap if you like. Since I have feedbacks in order to say that it's not due to my bad presentation, but maybe due to your childishness. That's why you go to sleep. That's why, don't worry. Secondly, you may ask that why I will make a presentation on this topic. There are two reasons for that. First, I'm leader of the group in the Ministry of Justice in charge of preparing a legal framework for cryptocurrency or virtual currency in Vietnam. Since we are preparing for that, and in the end of this month, this year, we will make a proposal to the government in order to establish a legal framework for cryptocurrency in Vietnam. Secondly, since in order to develop blockchain, normally we need to create a legal framework for blockchain, industries, blockchain-based process, etc. That's why we need to improve our law for that. And even other agencies provide proposals in order to improve Vietnamese law on this issue. My department will be the department who review and examine the proposal from other agencies. That's why I'm very interested in this topic. And my presentation will be divided into two parts. The first one relating to blockchain and related legal issues, and the second one is cryptocurrency or virtual currency and related legal issues. As you may know, in law school, especially US, you have the course law and healthcare, law and technology, and now, since my two issues related to law and blockchain and law to cryptocurrency or virtual currency. First, going to the first issue.
So they have a translation in Vietnam
issues.
Is written up on the board.
You may know that we have the difference between traditional system and blockchain system. In the traditional system, everything is centralized, and we have the store or centralized ledger. But for the blockchain system, it is distributed system, and we have a distributed ledger. That's why in the traditional system, it's easier for the government, for lawyers, since in that case we just control the central. It means that the transaction between you and me will go through to a centralized agency, and in that case we just focus on control that centralized agency. However, in the blockchain system, since it's decentralized, that's why we need will be online as a block, and this block will be broadcasted to all of the members in the network. And then when all of the members in the network approve it, and then the block can be added into the chain, and then the transaction is finished and completed. It is the blockchain. Yes, and now it's very popular that we are talking about the fourth industrial revolution. So what is fourth industrial revolution or revolution 4.0? For the first industrial revolution, we mentioned about the steam power. For the second revolution, we mentioned about electricity. For the third revolution, we were talking about internet or IT. But how about the fourth industrial revolution? What is the key term for the revolution 4.0? I think it is blockchain. And then you may see from the presentations in this event, there are many kinds of applications of blockchain in practice. For example, relating to property registration. As you may know, in Vietnam now, it's very difficult to follow the flow of assets, the flow of property. And even when you register your property with the competent authority, another can make a false certificate in order to do another transaction, in order to steal your property, for example. However, if we use blockchain technology in the field of property registration, we can prevent that. That's why after enacting the Civil Code in the end of 2015, now the Ministry of Justice, we are in charge of drafting the law on property registration. And I hope that we can apply the blockchain and mention the blockchain in that law if possible. However, in that case, we need the cooperation from you, all of the technology companies and blockchain communities in order to do that. Second one, it is related to our Ministry of Justice. It is notary. Now, if you would like to make, if you have transaction and contract, you have to go to a public notary office. But in the future, you can imagine that you don't need to go to a public notary office. You can use blockchain in order to have notary service. It's a big revolution for people in this field. And there are many applications, for example, IP protection, intellectual property protection. And this morning in this room, there is one one guy discussing about the using of blockchain to protect digital rights in internet, for example. That's why there are many ways and many applications of blockchain in practice. And that's why I say, when we mention about the fourth industrial revolution, the key term is blockchain. However, there are many legal concerns with respect to the application of blockchain in practice. The first one, since when you apply the blockchain application, use blockchain technology, normally your partners, he or she is abroad, in US, Switzerland, Japan, for example. In that case, if there is a dispute between you and your counterpart, there is legal question is which jurisdiction have the right to adjudicate your case. It means that which court, which arbitration agency have the competent authority, have jurisdiction in order to adjudicate your dispute. Second, which law is applicable in that case? Which is the governing law in that case? It is the normal questions with respect to the private international law. And in that case, we have to deal with when we use blockchain application of blockchain products. Second, another issue, for example, if you are an IT or blockchain company and you create a blockchain-based protocols, how is your blockchain-based protocol protected from the IP perspective, from intellectual property perspective? Another issue is, For example, even when before this presentation, the organizing committee learned mentioning about the ICO and advised us not to mention about the ICO. But for example, when we do ICO in general, not in Vietnam, but for example in Singapore, so how do you comply with the sectoral or financial regulation? In that case, it's a big problem now. And the issue with respect to liabilities of stakeholders, of related parties, if there is a dispute with respect to blockchain technology application. And many issues, for example, data privacy, cybersecurity issues, and even the compliance and enforcement of laws. Therefore, the best way is to create a legal framework promoting blockchain applications. However, it should protect legitimate interests of stakeholders and related parties, especially customers. But it's not easy, and all the countries in the world have trouble or have a lot of concerns and difficulties or obstacles in creating a good legal framework for blockchain application. Recently, 3 weeks or 4 weeks ago, in the US House of Representatives organized a hearing on emerging applications for blockchain technology. And from the legal and from the government perspective, there are 2 big issues. How does government use blockchain for government business? Second, how does government regulate industries using blockchain? Those 2 issues are not the issues for the US government, but also for Vietnamese government and other governments all over the world in the era of blockchain application or blockchain technology. And with respect to the second question, how does a government regulate industries based blockchain or industry using blockchain? There are four issues that a good legal framework or good legal system should deal. The first one is that legal system should permit the exchange of blockchain-based assets in order not only to protect blockchain-based assets, but also permitting blockchain-based assets. Second, that legal system should enable parties to build new blockchain-based protocols. This morning, you have heard about many kinds of blockchain-based protocols. For example, the presentation made by Playcoin or made by others mentioning about the new blockchain-based protocol. That's why we should encourage those to create new blockchain-based protocol. Third, that legal system should provide a predictable, minimalist, consistent, and simple legal environment in order to protect customers. Since customers, they are there, to some extent, they are weak. They don't know about the technology, they don't know about blockchain. However, if they think it's a good investment, they can follow. That's why the law should protect customers in that case. And the fourth issue for a good legal system in order to promote blockchain is that we should re-examine, we should review existing laws and regulations that may hinder blockchain-based commerce. Since at the moment, not only in Vietnam, but also even in the US and other countries in the world, some laws, they are outdated. They are outdated. They are not compatible with the blockchain development. That's why we have to review and to amend those laws and regulations. And that's for those 4 issues from the legal perspective they can be applied not only in the US, but also Vietnam and other countries. Now, I would like to turn to the second topic, laws and cryptocurrency or virtual currency. Yesterday, I went to the website coinmarketcap.com, and at the moment, there are more than 1,500 cryptocurrencies traded in this CoinMarketCap, and statistic by this CoinMarketCap.com. And the market capitalization is around 500 million US dollar. It's a big market capitalization. And it's worth noting that recently, last month, we had this one. The government of Venezuela, they have done ICO of petrol. It is a cryptocurrency and a crypto asset backed by oil asset and issued by the government Venezuela. It's very interesting. That's why now cryptocurrency or virtual currency is not only the business of private sector, but also business of public sector. That's why we need the legal framework for that. And of course, cryptocurrency is based on the blockchain technology. And here you can see when it is verified, it can use and innovate cryptocurrency. Of course, and we can do it through mining or through ICO, initial coin offering. However, cryptocurrency, you see that at the moment there are misunderstandings with respect to cryptocurrency or virtual currency and e-money or electronic money. They are in the form or in the format of digital. However, e-money, it is traditional currency with legal tender status. It means that you can change from one e-money unit to one unit of Vietnamese đồng or US dollar. However, cryptocurrency or virtual currency or VC, it is invented currency without legal tender status. And for e-money, for example, e-money in Momo or Vimo in Vietnam, it is accepted by undertakings other than the issuer. But for VC or cryptocurrency, it is used within that VC or cryptocurrency community. And e-money is issued by legally established electronic money institution. However, VC is established by non-financial private company. But the most important thing is e-money is regulated. However, VC is not regulated now. And there are many risks relating to VC or cryptocurrency. Not only the legal risks, but credit risk, liquidity, and operational risk. So, how about the reaction of the government with respect to the use, the exchange of cryptocurrency or VC in the world? There are two approaches now. First one, prohibition. It's very easy, prohibition. For example, in China, and even in China now, they are preparing to prevent mining of Bitcoin, for example. Or in Algeria, in the Financial Act of 2018, issued or enacted in December 2017, it prohibits the use and the exchange of cryptocurrency. However, the second approach is to control all of the crypto or VC currency transaction. There are three ways for that. First one, it is considered as goods. VC is considered as a good, and then it is subject to VAT tax or goods and service tax. Second, it is considered and it is treated from the law as a means of payment, and in that case, VC is not subject to VAT or tax. For example, if you exchange from a Bitcoin to Vietnamese stock or $2, that transaction is not subject to VAT, value added tax, or good or service tax. Of course, you have to subject to revenue tax. And the third one, it is considered and treated as stock. To some extent, for example, in some ICOs in Singapore or even some cases in the US, it could be considered as stock. But whether you prohibit VC or control VC, the most problem now is the money laundering and terrorist financing. That's why all of the law of every country, they focus on preventing money laundering and terrorist financing. Now, how about the experience from Japan or EU and US? In Japan, there is a law on Payment Service Act, the so-called Payment Service Act, amended in 2016 and came into effect in last year. In this law, it considers VC as means of payment, and the way, the mechanism to control the VC is to control the companies or business operators dealing in currency exchange services, and those business operators, they must register with financial service agencies of Japan, not only domestic operator, but also foreign operator. They have to register in order to be recognized and to be operated in Japan. In the EU, the most important case and decision by the European Court of Justice is Skagerrak versus debit habits. Skagerrak means the tax agency in Swedish, the Swedish tax agency. And in this case, the Swedish tax agency would like to impose VAT tax on the exchange between Bitcoin to Swedish krona. However, the European Court of Justice decided that transaction was not subject to VAT, value added tax, and in that case, Bitcoin is considered as a means of payment. However, at the moment, the most concern in the EU is the money laundering. That's why they are revising and amending the AML, Anti-Money Laundering Directive. And in the final draft of this one, there is a formal definition of VC, and other countries can follow this definition. In the EU, it's very interesting that the National Conference of Commissioners on Uniform State Law issued the so-called Uniform Registration of VC Business Act in 2017. This can be considered as a formal law, a modern law for states in the US in order to enact the law in each state in order to control the VC. But in this case, they follow the second approach, as I mentioned. It means that they would like to focus on controlling the exchange, businesses, operators doing business in exchange of virtual currency. And this issue is a hot issue in World Economic Forum in January this year. And there are many ways, many proposals that very useful for lawyers in order to propose the legal framework in order to control VC. And in Vietnam, according to the decision 1255 in 2017, last year, the Prime Minister of Vietnam approved the project to improve the legal framework of Vietnam in order to control and manage virtual currency. And we have the timeline in order to propose the legal framework. And our Ministry of Justice, our team, will be in charge, is in charge of doing this. And of course, we hope to receive your comments, your cooperation, in order to well prepare for a good legal framework for VC in particular and blockchain in general in Vietnam. The technology is not good. We should use blockchain technology for this. And then, of course, as I mentioned, how about the direction for VC control and management? It can be prohibition as good as means of payment, as stock, security, or mix as goods or means of payment and stock. Therefore, it's too early to say how about the direction or tendency in Vietnam. However, I hope that we can find a good solution in order to provide a good legal framework for Vietnam with respect to VC and blockchain. The second last. And I think that in order to do that, we need the cooperation. Yes. Okay, thank you. Sorry. And in order for government to prepare a good legal framework for controlling and managing VC in particular and blockchain in general, we need the cooperation not only from blockchain community but also from investors, consumers, and in that case we need to study experience from international community, foreign experience, and we need the cooperation, international cooperation, in order to create a legal framework for VC and blockchain in Vietnam. Since the legal framework for VC or blockchain in Vietnam, it should be compatible with the legal framework for VC and blockchain, not only over the world. That's why we need the cooperation between lawyers in Vietnam and lawyers in other countries in order to well prepare for this legal framework. But in any case, as I mentioned, there are four main issues. Thus, we should protect, that legal framework should protect blockchain-based assets and permit the exchange of blockchain-based assets. Second, that legal framework should promote and encourage blockchain-based protocols. Third, that legal framework should be transparent, consistent, and easy for every stakeholders to understand and to comply. And finally, in any case, we should revise the current laws and regulations which may hinder blockchain development. In that case, we can create a good legal framework for blockchain and VC. But finally, we need the cooperation, not only from the businesses, from technology community, blockchain community, but also investors, foreign countries, in order to create a good legal framework. Thank you for your attention, and if you would like to ask, I am happy to answer your question. Thank you.
Thank you very much for your sharing, Mr. Nguyễn Thanh Tú. And now we will come to the second session of today's sharing.
So I'm going to recap that a little bit. can see a little
big
bit. This,
data.
good
So as you
here.
know, society nowadays are becoming
It's
increasingly
a little bit
reliant on
hard
data, and
sometimes,
especially
like
with
the language
the
barriers, so you can
invention
tell
of
that
artificial
like it was
intelligence.
a little bit
And
kind of like a
currently we
broad
are having
overview. It wasn't
a few organizations
it
with
wasn't a whole
massive
lot
data
of
access
specifics,
and
but I
AI
think they were laying
capabilities.
out a
And they
groundwork
would,
for
they are so
how
powerful that they pose a risk
the
to our free
at least
and
how they're
open
going to be treating this
society.
legally
So
in
what is
Vietnam.
the solution
So,
to unlock the data in a way that is more equitable for
I'm
users
going
of data?
to
And how to
I'm gonna
apply
come back
this for the
and
governance,
find
both
another
and with the technology.
another
So now let's
workshop or
welcome
something
on
for you
stage
guys
Mr.
and
Dimitri
report on that. So
Application
interested to
Director
hear
from
some of your
Digital
comments.
EU to share with us about this.
So I'm gonna go ahead and bring. We got these. Okay, so we've got this is the next speaker here. This is a whole different presentation. So more of an American speaker.
Hi everyone.
It's the Ocean Protocol.
My name is Dimitri.
But I'm gonna go ahead and end this here, and
there's
like 5 other conferences, so I might check in with one of the other spots here. So
creators,
be on the lookout.
individual